Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my DC collection. So, I'm recording this essentially right after recording part 1, which is now currently uploading to YouTube. So I'm now going to do my live action DC stuff. So, it's pretty much this here. And we're going to pretty much go in order of release, really. So first up is the Batman 4 Film Favorites Collection. Or as the box says, 4 Film Favorites Batman Collection, we're going to call it. This is the original Batman anthology movies. Which contains the 2 Tim Burton movies and the 2 Joel Schumacher movies. Yeah, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. So I enjoy these movies. I enjoy all 4 of them. Yes, even Batman and Robin. I enjoy this movie. Is it stupid? Yes, but it's fun stupid. And basically now that Keaton's going to be coming back for the Flash movie will retcon or ignore or disregard, contradict, whatever. It'll basically wipe the Joel Schumacher movies out of existence, basically. I guess the reason is because Keaton's not in those movies. Though they have said, I think the writer, Akiva Goldsman, either Akiva Goldsman or Peter McGregor Scott has said that there is a 170-minute cut, which is about 2 hours and 50 minutes, a 2 hour and 50-minute cut of Batman Forever, which was darker and more psychological. Which I would love if they released that version, because I do enjoy Batman Forever, and I want to see what that original version what that version was originally. So if they ever released it, please, because since Joel Schumacher has passed away, I think 2020, I don't remember, it would be a nice tribute to him if they released that version, you know. Batman Begins, the first of the Dark Knight trilogy. Basically, after Batman and Robin, for lack of a better word, shat the bed, they tried numerous attempts to do another Batman movie, one of which was a sequel called Batman Triumphant, with Scarecrow as the main antagonist, and I guess Harley Quinn was written as the Joker's daughter, and Jack Nicholson would reprise his role as Joker in a hallucination that Bruce was experiencing, brought on by the Joker's fear toxin, or Scarecrow's fear toxin. I don't want to say Joker's fear toxin, but anyway. And it would be Harley Quinn was getting revenge for the death of her father, aka the Joker. Now, I noticed a similarity between that and The Dark Knight Rises, which I'll bring up that later. But eventually they decided to scrap the original series, and 8 years later, after the series was dead in the water for 8 years, they essentially revived it with Christopher Nolan making Batman Begins, which is basically a more realistic take on Batman, which I really enjoyed this movie. It's a great start of the series, and I love that they used villains that we had not seen before, with Ra's al Ghul played brilliantly by Liam Neeson, and Scarecrow played by Cillian Murphy. And I like the cast, and I enjoy the cast in this. You got Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne Batman. You have Michael Caine as Alfred. Like I said, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes, who was a character created specifically for this movie. Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, who's not Commissioner yet. Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow, who does kind of get wasted throughout the trilogy. Tom Wilkinson as Carmine Falcone. Rutger Hauer as Mr. Earl. Ken Watanabe as the phony Ra's al Ghul. Trust me, watch the movie, you'll understand. And then Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox. So it's a great start to the series, really. Superman the Movie 4-disc special edition. This includes both the 87 theatrical cut, which runs about 2 hours and 23 minutes, and then the 2000 director's cut, or as it's known here, expanded edition. I just call it director's cut because this says special edition, because this here says expanded edition, and then the fucking blue that I got says special edition. which is what this says up here. So I was like, fuck it, it's the director's cut to me. And the director's cut's in the Blu-ray that I'm going to show later in a few minutes. But yeah, this is a great set that I've had it for a few years. Now that I got the Blu-ray, I'm thinking about selling this set. I don't know yet, considering it. Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. This is the best. For me, this is the definitive version of Superman 2, and I think a lot of people would say that. Because much like Justice League, this had lost its director midway through filming. But for different reasons, because Snyder left due to a family tragedy, and I'll elaborate more on that when I get to Justice League. But Donner was outright fired because of disagreements he had with the producers of Salkinds, who were cheap, greedy assholes. Seriously, to give you an example, so Richard Lester took over the film after Donner had shot 75% of it, but prior to that, Lester had done the Three Musketeers movies, and for some reason the Salkinds only paid the cast and crew for one movie, despite the fact that they released it in 2 parts. So that's dumb. So you got the Dark, and then you got the Dark Knight here. I love this movie. It's my favorite Batman movie ever. I think it's my favorite Batman movie in existence. You have Heath Ledger as the Joker. You essentially have Christian Bale, Gary Oldman, Morgan Freeman, and Michael Caine all reprising their roles. You have, like I said, Heath Ledger as the Joker. You have Maggie Gyllenhaal stepping in as Rachel Dawes because Katie Holmes wanted to do Mad Money instead, and Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, also known as Two-Face at the end. Which I kind of get what they were going for, but I think Two-Face kind of felt a little tacked on at the end. Like, I get what the point of it was to show that, as Batman says, as Bruce says, that he wanted to prove that even someone as good as you could fall, saying to Harvey. But again, and they do kind of set it up throughout the movie, but Two-Face does kind of feel tacked on. I kind of wish they'd saved it for a sequel, but they didn't. Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds. This is an okay movie. It's not the disaster people thought it was. Although I do think it's funny that Reynolds makes jokes about this in the Deadpool movies. Like in the first one, he says, "Please don't make the super suit green or animated." And then in the second one, you see Ryan Reynolds essentially reading the script for Green Lantern and signing the contract, I'm assuming. And then he just randomly shot from behind. His body drops, and it's Deadpool saying, "You're welcome, Canada." I thought that was fucking hilarious. The next is The Dark Knight Rises. This was a great end to the trilogy, to the Dark Knight trilogy. As I said here, a monumental conclusion to the epic trilogy. Now, as I said with the Batman and Robin, this does kind of borrow from the Batman Drama Skip. Because in this movie, Miranda Cotillard plays Miranda Tate, who is revealed to be Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's, who is seeking revenge for her father's death. And yet, Liam Neeson appears as a hallucination to Bruce. So it's like, yeah, either no one read the Batman German script, or it's a fucking incredible coincidence. I love Tom Hardy's Bane. I mean, I liked him until the end when they just pulled the Talia twist and they literally shot him off screen. Like, literally. It's like, wow, way to neuter a great villain. And then made it even worse, considering like 10 minutes after the reveal, Talia just drops dead. So it was great up until the end. Man of Steel, a great Superman movie. This was the first Superman movie I ever watched. Well, second if you count Superman Returns, which I will never own that movie. But this was a great movie, and I loved Michael Shannon as General Zod, because unlike Terrence Stamp, which no offense, but Shannon actually has a fucking motivation in this movie, because the way that the Kryptonians do is they've established artificial population where children aren't born, they're grown, making Clark the first natural born in centuries. And as Jor-El says, each Kryptonian child was programmed to fulfill a certain role in society. Zod was to ensure the Kryptonian race at all costs. So when Krypton is destroyed, he wants to reborn Krypton. He wants to revive the Kryptonian race on Earth's ashes by terraforming Earth to make it inhabitable for Krypton. But, as Jor-El says, the Krypton you're clinging to is gone. The ones that fucked themselves over. And so when Zod says to Clark, if you destroy the ship, you destroy Krypton, Clark says Krypton had its chance. Which they did. They fucked up. And if Zod were to revive the Kryptonian race, they would just make the same dumb mistakes again. Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. Oh, this was a great sequel to Man of Steel. I enjoyed this movie. I love it. It's a great movie. I don't know why WB cut 30 minutes out of it for the theatrical release. They're fucking dumbasses. But yeah, I loved seeing Batman and Superman confront each other. I even liked the end fight with Doomsday. Wonder Woman felt organically placed in the other. Wonder Woman worked for being in the movie. There's not only a lot of her, which I'm fine with because it's called Batman v Superman, and I do like though how they do integrate Batman into this world, because Bruce witnesses the events of Metropolis, and we find out that the building that Zod was using his heat ray in was a Wayne building. So that's how Batman. That's why Batman wants to take Superman down in this movie. And I didn't even mind Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I thought he was fine. It was a different take on the character, but I respected for what they tried to do, because it wasn't I want fucking land again. Speaking of Wonder Woman, first Wonder Woman movie, and no, I will not ever buy Wonder Woman 1984. That movie's bad. It's a disappointment. But this was awesome. This was worth seeing in theaters. Originally though, when I heard this was getting good reviews, I was like, oh, please don't let this be another Ghostbusters situation where it's only getting good reviews so people aren't called sexist. But no, this was actually fucking awesome. So why Patty Jenkins made a disappointing sequel, I will never know. Superman the movie, the 2-film collection, which is the extended cut and the director's cut. I got this in 2018, and I think this was part of the second batch of copies, because as soon as it was released, this sold out real quick. So I think mine was part of the second batch of copies. So, hey, Justice League, or Justice League. So basically, as I said before, with Zack Snyder being, the difference between Zack Snyder and Richard Donner, as I said before, is that Zack left of his own accord because, the death of his daughter. His daughter tragically committed suicide, and Zack couldn't, and not to mention Zack had WB breathing down his neck due to the reception to BVS. And he's like, I can't do this. I can't deal with it anymore. I have to use my family. And he made the right call. Trust me, he did. So instead of, delaying the fucking movie so Zack could grieve, no, they brought in Joss Whedon, who reshot a ton of the movie, because even Phoebe Wagner, who was the cinematographer, or the director of photography, which I think is the same as cinematographer, basically said that 10% of the Zack shot is in this version. So which means Whedon reshot up to 80 or 90%. Because I read he rewrote 80 pages of material. So most of this movie was Whedon's. And yet for some reason Zack has directorial credit. I don't know, maybe because he was finished from photography. I don't fucking know. Aquaman, good movie. I haven't watched it yet. I mean, I've seen it, but I haven't watched it since I bought the DVD. And as I said in my DVD collection, my movie collection video, this was the only copy I found at Walmart with the clear case, so I thought it was unique and I bought it. The crazy thing with this is that the aspect ratio changes from 240 to 178, and I don't know why they just didn't make it 178 the whole movie, because I read that at least 90% of this movie is in IMAX aspect ratio. So I don't know why they didn't make that for the whole movie, because they totally did with Justice League, and I don't think Justice League was in IMAX. But okay. And finally, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So after 4 years of people campaigning, other people bitching and saying, oh, it doesn't exist, it'll never happen, we finally got it, and it was fucking awesome. I'll say this, even if they don't restore the Snyderverse and they don't make more of Zack's movies, I can at least die happy knowing that we have a proper conclusion to his epic trilogy. Now, if only they would release the Ayer cut. But that's a different topic entirely. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys next time.